Hello, everyone. It wouldn't be one of my pen shows if there wasn't some technical issues. So you're supposed to be able to go live on your phone, and it wouldn't let me into my own stream. So I gave up, and I went in through Google Chrome, which I find to be much more effective. So I hope everyone can hear me okay. I hope everyone's all right this evening. I'd really like to get this down because I just feel bad. Like I had a really nice lighting set up and I was ready to go. And I just kept searching through every menu I could, and there's no place to join on the phone. And the show must go on. Book Feaster got a Lamy 2000. Good for you. Lamy 2000 is one of those pens that I almost want to say that everyone should have. It's just that great. I actually don't have one currently. I have written with one a couple of times at Pen Show last year. Tried one out, came this close to buying it. I had a little bit of trouble finding the edge. Sometimes with hooded nibs and semi-hooded nibs, I have a little bit of trouble finding the writing edge. Ron Steed tells me my audio is good, which is very good because that would be a new experience for us because normally my audio is rubbish. So I'm glad to hear that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So I hope everyone's well. I hope it sounds okay. I do have an air conditioner on in the background because, like most of the United States, it's quite hot. It hit in the high 90s here in Massachusetts, which is a bit of an anomaly. It doesn't usually get that warm. And our lawns are already burned out. So I guess I don't need to mow anymore. You guys, this is so handy to have a magnifying light. Picked this up at IKEA somewhere around 1992. And it's been with me ever since. So very, very good stuff. So Dalton got a Pilot Vanishing Point in blue carbonesque. Dalton, you share that pen with my wife. My wife actually has that pen. That is a really gorgeous pen, and that nib, that springy nib on that is really extraordinary. I don't know if you've seen, I was showing it around different social media places, but I did get a Pilot Vanishing Point in matte black, which is super nice. I'm going to do the Mr. Rogers thing. Remember when he would change his shoes? I'm going to change my glasses, and I'll explain to you guys. These are my progressives, so they're kind of okay at everything, but not great at any one thing. Maybe distance, they're pretty good. But these are my reading glasses. Now I can see your questions and everything else, and they're really not much different, but they are blue. So when you see me with the blue frames, you know that I'm really interested in what you have to say. So I was talking about the Pilot Vanishing Point, and I think what's extraordinary about that pen is how great it is having one hand operation for a fountain pen, right? Because fountain pens are a little ritualistic. We're used to taking them, unscrewing them, or snapping a cap and posting or not posting, as the case may be, putting the cap ceremoniously in front of you while you journal, one of those things. But the Vanishing Point is more of a click and go. In a way, it makes it feel sort of a little more democratic, a little bit closer to ballpoint territory. Smack me for saying so, but there's just something so like usable and versatile about it. It's sort of stripped of pretension. Do you guys agree with me on that? I did a whole video on it recently, so you'll see that soon. I do want to mention a couple things. One is if you're kind of interested in everything going on in this pen world of ours, the Hemingway Jones sphere of the pentranet, if you will, your favorite pentertainment channel. It might be helpful to follow me on Instagram. I'm there as Hemingway underscore Jones at Instagram. I'm also Hemingway Jones, but that's my photography if you're interested in seeing the kind of photos I take. But if you put an underscore in the middle, that's the pen content. And I do a lot more sort of how things are done there. I'll post a lot of raw B-roll, sometimes with the video on, so you can hear what's actually going on. So a lot of times when you see me in my videos and I'm doing the thing where I'm writing in a journal or something, and it looks very bucolic and magical. In fact, there's usually a 5-year-old running around behind me screaming her head off. So you get to see things like that, which are kind of charming. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, Hemingway underscore Jones is a good place. And then if you like my content, you're on TikTok. There's also Hemingway Jones on TikTok, where you get sort of like 20-second versions of my 20-minute YouTube videos. So I thought I'd give you some of that. Let me see some of your questions here, which I always love questions, guys. You can ask me anything, and I'll try to answer it, okay? So Dalton says it feels more utilitarian rather than ceremonial. I think that's true. And I think what makes the pilot vanishing point so great, so universal, is that it is so accessible and so practical that it, as I said, it doesn't have the pretension that a lot of other pens do. Although I love a pretentious pen, you know. And when I think of that word, I mean, maybe that's a YouTube video, like what is a pretentious pen? I would go with something like the Cartier Diablo, right? Because it's like, not only is this a fountain pen, but it's Cartier. I mean, it's like, it's in your face, that pen, isn't it? And yet it's a fantastic pen that writes amazing. And I picked mine up for $200, so it's not even like it's that expensive. Michelle, hi Michelle, asks, are you a world traveler as well? You strike me as the type to enjoy adventures in different cultures. Well, I don't know about world, Michelle. I'll tell you, I have traveled many places, but what I do is I tend to really like a place and I keep going back. So from around 2000 up um, until I don't know, about 10 years ago, I went to Venice sometimes twice a year. And I studied that city like I was trying to get a graduate degree in Venetian studies. I just love it so much. And part of it is the romance of it and the art and the history. I love the history of Venice. And I always went off season. I'm not a person who likes to go when there's crowds. I don't go to Europe to get tan. I go there to see museums and or to spend time with family because my wife is British. So we also spend quite a bit of time in England. So I've gone to those places in a very concentrated way, right? And France as well. But Asia, I've never been to Asia. My wife tells me I have to see Hong Kong, that I would love it. I'm a huge fan of 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s Hong Kong cinema. So I'm sure I would like that. And also, my wife tells me I would love Japan. And I'd love to see it. And I haven't been. And I haven't been to South America. I haven't been to Africa. So I can't call myself a world traveler, but I'm pretty well traveled in Italy and certainly in England, maybe a few other places. So let me see what other questions you guys have. Michelle revisits places as well. Very good. Favorite diamine ink other than Oxblood or Sargasso Sea? Book, you know me well. Indeed, you do, because those are my two favorite diamine colors. But there are others. Imperial Purple is the best purple I've ever found. It's a really dark interesting purple that is very effective because it draws a lot of contrast between the paper and itself. So it's a brilliant ink. I really like that one. Also, as good as Oxblood is, if you want something a little lighter with a little bit more pop, I would consider Writer's Blood, which is also really, really good. And one of my favorite black substitutes, because a lot of times I want a black color in a pen, and to me, my weird aesthetic, purple is kind of a black substitute. Because instead of going black, which is an absolute, um, you do a dark purple, and it's sort of in the neighborhood, right? So Diamine had a color that was a limited color, but I got a little tiny, like 5 milliliter bottle of it called Vivaldi, which I bought because I love Vivaldi. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know what it would be like, and it's like an eggplant color. So I really, really like that one, guys. I highly recommend it. So it's absolutely beautiful shade. So, but I am a big fan of Diamine inks. So I see some love for Diamine Eclipse out there. It's very good. Joe Colucci's speaking about Tanzanite Sky and First Wheel Press. I mean, First Wheel Press has to get the vote for the most beautiful packaging and really solid products, incredibly gorgeous saturated inks with magical pixie dust and shimmer and sheen borrowed from maybe, Michelangelo's brush or something. Just gorgeous. Van Gogh probably would have been better. Anyway, yeah, I could see. I like using painters' analogies because their fountain pen is called the brush, and it's modeled after a paintbrush, and it's really quite lovely. And you'll see a review of it Thursday. That's, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't believe I am, Thursday's video is on the First Wheel Press brush fountain pen. So, Lady Rose's favorite First Wheel ink. Yeah, I have one. It's like ruby red, and then there's Tumblin' Time, which I really quite like. So, a Book Feaster asks, what should I fill my Mont Blanc 146 with? Well, my friend, I would say J. Urban's Sapphire, which is my favorite ink. Do you guys want to hear what I did? I'll show you this. Are you familiar with my inkwell? This is my Egyptomania inkwell, which I think you guys know I'm quite enamored of. Well, it now has J. Urban Sapphire ink in it. I bought a bottle. Now, more and more, I'm saying that we need to draw this hard line that fountain pen gear and Amazon do not mix, because I bought a large bottle of J. Urban ink. It was about, I don't know how many milliliters. I think it might have been 100. Is that over exaggerating? But it was about this big. And I opened up the packaging and it was just ink everywhere. And so I write them back and I say, hey, this is, there's ink everywhere. I need to return this, or I need a refund. And they wouldn't give me a refund until I returned it. But how am I supposed to return a leaky bottle of ink? I mean, can you imagine it seeping through packaging? It doesn't make sense. So I took the hit and I poured it into a jar, and then I poured some of it into there. And I just, it really turned me off to Amazon, and I took great pains to set up one of those influencer pages, which I had in Amazon. And I picked certain products, and I kept an eye on the people that were fulfilling it. I didn't delete it because I don't know how to do that, and I just haven't looked into it yet. But I took the link off of my TikTok because I wouldn't want anyone else to have that experience. It was really frustrating. And I have bought a couple of fountain pens from there, usually from the warehouse, because there are a few good deals there. But you really need to buy from reputable pen shops and authorized dealers, I think. What is my favorite daily fountain pen? That is hard to answer because I would have to talk about maybe fountain pens that I use the most. So my most used fountain pen for a very long time will be the Mont Blanc 149 because for a couple of years it was the only pen I carried every day, and I only had royal blue Mont Blanc royal blue ink in it. So So I guess that's my daily writer if I ever had one. Now I carry my Kaweco Lilliput with me each day. So I have that. But I don't often use it. I only use it as a sort of a backup. I have my hover pen. The hover pen company sent me one for promotion on another channel. And I have that on my desk at work. But today I had a Twisby Eco. I've been carrying my Vanishing Point. I've been carrying even my Egyptomania. I can't let that sit for too long. I miss it. That super soft, buttery soft nib. It's just so amazing. So, do I have any pens that I only use for fun, never use for work or anything serious? I'm trying to think. I think I've probably brought every pen to the office at one time or another. I don't think I've brought the Benu Brown Orchid Ambrosia, but I will sooner or later. So I'm a little crazy that way. Do I ever purchase from boutiques or do I stick to Pen Chalet and Goulet? Hi, Simon. Um, well, I I love Pen Chalet. Very nice people, fantastic company to do business with. People that are very passionate about this hobby of ours. I love Goulet. I think they do a great job. I also have a really strong relationship with Brendan over at Atlas Stationers in Chicago. He sent me a care package, if you will, a box. That's where my Pilot Vanishing Point came from. Brendan gave it to me. Now that's all for promotion over at TikTok. So he doesn't. I don't know if he knows about my YouTube. I would think maybe he's heard it. I don't know, but he certainly didn't give me it for YouTube. But I really like his energy, and I think he's going to be a very popular voice in this community for a long time because he's just really passionate about writing, about getting the word out there on what these pens can do. Because you sort of need to be evangelical about pens, I think, if we're going to make an impact. And I use the analogy quite a bit. You guys must have heard me speaking about um, watches a lot, right? Like I'm always making like watch analogies with pens, like who is the Rolex of fountain pens, or how Lamy is sort of the Casio of fountain pens. Well, mechanical watches were so out of vogue in the 1980s into the 90s that only nerds were really into them, and sort of watch hipsters or watch aficionados. Sort of, it was such a niche thing. Now it's huge, and there's so many people into it, and there's a whole industry and other industry. And that happened through certain placements in the media, certain voices online. And the same thing could happen with pens because mechanical watches are an outdated technology, and so are fountain pens. And they each, I think, affect you. I think each of them give you joy and do something that's basic that can be done better by other things. So I think there's a strong analogy there. So that's how I feel. Um, but so yeah, I really like Atlas Stationers. I think they're a really good company. Does nib size change what ink you might put into a pen? Sextus Pompeius asks. Um, I think it is a consideration in regards to the experience you're going to have. The thing is though, sometimes you don't know how an ink is going to respond to a pen until you put it in there. Have you guys ever put an ink into two different pens written with both of them and they look slightly different? So that happens. And some of it has to do with flow and the viscosity and all these other factors. So I'm thinking of an ink like Konpeki, which flows, I'd say like water, but there are things that flow even more silvery than water. It flows like mercury. Does mercury flow faster than water? It should. Anyway, I'm striving for a metaphor that I just can't resolve. But if you put Kompeki into a nib you know to be wet, well, you have something, right? You have a pretty wet paragraph. So you just sort of have to experiment with these things. It's part of the fun of this hobby. I mean, mechanical watches are one thing, but you think about the variables we have in the fountain pen world. You have your choice of nibs, your choice of pen, your choice of inks, your choice of paper. There are so many different variables that you can mix up. And I think sometimes when certain concepts, inks, pens, what have you, bubble up to the surface, it's almost been crowdsourced in a very positive way that you can almost trust that it's good if that many people have tested it and sing its praises. It's at least some kind of barometer. By the way, I got this paper clip from the Birmingham Pen Company in their packaging. Maybe you guys all know about this, but little things make me happy, and I love this. It's so charming. It looks like a stub, I think. Maybe I'll try to write with it one of these days. So, yeah, I think there's so much for us to obsess over and to enjoy in this hobby of ours, in this thing of ours. My glasses are slipping down my face a little. I hate that. Let me take a look at some of your questions. Michelle asked, do I visit pen shows? Enjoy it, or have I attended any in the past? I've never been, but strongly considering the San Francisco one in August. Curious to know what your experience has been, if any. I do indeed have limited pen show experience. So last year I went to the Commonwealth Pen Show. I live in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and the pen show's right outside of Boston. And I went with my wife and my daughter, and it was super fun. And we were like the three youngest people there. The crowd really was older, and I'm pretty old, guys. I was kind of surprised about that. I was thinking there'd be some younger people, but it wasn't the case. But it was super fun. There are so many vintage pens, so many different pen dealers and companies, people you can meet. Noodlers, Nathan from Noodlers is there, that kind of thing. Now, this year it's 2 days. I will be there. If anybody wants to meet me and wants to either come to Massachusetts or is in Massachusetts, you can meet me Saturday, September 17th at 11 a.m., where I am going to be at the Commonwealth Pen Show with my wife and my daughter. So it'll be super fun. Looking forward to meet some friends there. Science Notes, that company is going to be there. Very nice people. Really looking forward to meeting them. So, yeah, I do like it, and I am excited to return. It was a lot of fun. So, have I noticed the recent surge in popularity of fountain pens among younger generations? Um, I haven't. I hope that's true. I'd like to get people more into it. I think my mission is trying to get this out. And there's something very specific with me, guys. Part of the reason I'm so into pens is that I'm an avid journaler. And journaling is something I've used almost like therapy. I used to suffer from near debilitating depression. And when I went into episodes, it would last for months. Oddly enough, I was always able to go to work. So, work I could handle, and then I'd come home and I'd go to bed, or I'd lie in bed and stare at the wall. And it was really tough when it would happen. And it wasn't predicated on anything. Sometimes it would have something to do with a relationship or a change in my life or something, but not necessarily. Sometimes it just happened. And you definitely can get some help, certainly. I mean, there's professionals out there to help you. If you have any issues like this, see a professional. But one of the things that helped me was to take journaling very, very seriously. And that's when I really dug in and started to make sure I did it every day. And once I did that, themes started to reveal themselves. And it took a long time for me to learn some of the lessons of my own life. Some of the things that were crying out telling me, hey, this bothers you, or you don't handle this situation well, or this is a trigger for you to feel sad or something. It took a long time to see the trends, and then even longer time to act on them in a positive way. And if I didn't take that first step, the journaling step is like the diagnosis step. And I don't want to lose you guys, but it's just really important to me. It made a huge impact in my life. And I think I am such a better person now. And I'm so much more well balanced at a time when I need to be. Like, you can be damaged and, strange when you're young, but when you're a father and you're married, you kind of have to get your act together. So it all worked out for me, and I haven't had a depressive episode in over 10 years, 10, 12 years. But I feel it sometimes. I feel it coming on, but I recognize it because I did the hard work with the journaling, guys. And one of the things for me is food. I tend to not eat. I can sometimes go a couple of days without eating, and it can get me into a negative loop. So, something to think about. Connor, I'm 21 years old, and your videos on TikTok and Instagram make me create my own account. Hey, I'm so glad. Go for it, man. That's a great, great idea. Michelle says journaling has helped me as well. That's actually what drew me into using a fountain pen. If I weren't a journaler, by the way, I love that past conditional tense. That's going away. If I weren't a journaler, instead of saying if I wasn't a journaler, but weren't has a different meaning, conditional. So the other thing wouldn't happen if it wasn't for that, if I were a rich man, right? I wouldn't care for all these pretty inks, pens, paper quality. Love this community we share. Yeah, me too. Journaling is huge. Oh, Michael Davis is going to be at the Commonwealth Pen Show. So that'll be super exciting. I am really looking forward to this journal, guys. I can't wait to use this one. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take even me to go through this, but this is going to be such a fun journal. I can't wait. It's so pretty. It's heavy. I feel like this should be like the Necronomicon or something, right? And then after I have this one, which is also nice, but a little smaller. This has really nice bright paper. That'll be fun. Raves up. What's my fountain pen EDC for work? So it changes every day what I bring to work. I always carry a Lilliput, though. So there are some things that are eternal, or at least daily, if not eternal. So, guys, I filmed an unboxing video today, which was super exciting. I tried to do it from two different angles. I'm editing it right now. It's an unboxing and an inking of a Grail pen, guys. A Grail pen. Only the penitent mans shall pass. Trying to see what other journals I have. You know, these Odyssey notebooks aren't journals, but they are nearly. They have Tomoe River paper and 68 grams per square meter. They're cut really beautiful. Made by a company called Odyssey Notebooks. They sent these to me to do TikToks on them. So I have quite a few. I really like them. Here's something else I really like. These are Ayush. I bought this myself. And Ayush paper is really great. I don't know what the weight of this stuff is. Does it say? Yes, it does say. It's 100 grams per square meter. Pretty nice. GSM. I'll show you some of my notebooks. Now, these I only use for TikTok and for YouTube. Here's more Ayush. I really like the top, the ones that flip over the top. They're really nice for writing in when you have a camera on you, because the side seam really gets in the way. So, big fan. Here's some more Odyssey. This is a pretty hardcover. Has sort of that moleskin style elastic. This one is blank, no lines. Once again, this is 68 GSM. So pretty nice stuff, guys. I'll show you a few more. Hopefully you're not getting tired of these. Who doesn't love Saturn? This is Odyssey notebooks. Very nice. Very nice stuff. This one has lines. I even use this one. Oh, here's another one. This is fun. This is Atoms to Astronauts. I really like this. He sent me this for TikTok too. Really nice. This one has a matrix. I'm not sure what the GSM is, but it's nice. It feels really nice. Here's some fountain pen on it. You decide for yourself how ghosty you think it is. I think it's nice. I think it's perfect. I have something really posh here. This is really fun. So Penator sent me this. They only have two of my initials, but that's okay. It was a really nice gesture. I always use my middle too, but they didn't know. But this is really lovely. It's one of their notebooks from Penator. Really, really beautiful. From Milano. Uh-oh, Michael Davis, you ordered an Egyptomania? You madman. I know I am an enabler for that one, but let me tell you something. I got to talk to you guys about the Egyptomania. There's no pen like that. That thing is an amazing pen. It is wholly unique. It is so soft and so interesting to write with. It writes like a Waterman 52. with less line variation now. It's not great on the line variation, but it's super on the flex. The experience of writing with it is so soft and I was going to say luxurious. In a way, I feel like it is because it's like a flawless writing experience. You can't press too hard because it just bends. It's really, really, really amazing stuff. So that is a top shelf level pen. Brian says we need another measure besides GSM since it doesn't tell the whole story. Maybe absorption coefficient or something. I agree. Every paper has its own characteristics. Rhodia paper is as slick and smooth as an ice skating rink, whereas Ayush has a bit of grain like watercolor paper. Tomoe River has a nice finish, a little bit of feedback, and I think every different paper has a different quality. Take something like Moleskin, right? It's like loose leaf. It's not very good. So I think it's valuable to have someone who can review them and show you what they're like. The only issue with paper reviews, I haven't done a lot of paper reviews. It's hard to make it exciting. It's hard to make it interesting. Not impossible. And I actually like things that are hard. So I'll think of a way of doing it. But what I find troubling is that if you take your camera on macro or your phone in my case, and you get really close, even the best paper with the hardest cover looks a little feathery because you have 2 millimeter tall letters that are blown up to a couple inches, more than a couple inches on a screen. I don't know if you guys know this, but before I post my YouTubes, I watch them on my 55-inch flat screen television with what is it? I can't remember who made it, but it's a really nice one. So it's like a 2 millimeter letter can be this big, guys. So it can look a little feathery. So you sort of have to photograph it from a reasonable distance, or else you're doing a disservice. Does that make sense? Caroline, I've just dabbled in nib refinement. Wow, well done. I've now made some very wet pens finer and drier, which is my pen groove. Do you ever refine nibs or do they just work for you straight away? Sometimes I do, but I only have one move. So I can fix a pen if the tines are a little sprung. I know how to rock it just from watching YouTube videos. And also, I know how to work a slow starter from watching YouTube videos. And these are from Goulet. But I wouldn't call myself any kind of nib adjusting expert in any sense. But you do get those nibs, and I'll give you an example. You guys know I fight with my Pilot Metropolitan all the time. And it was fairly recently where I was like, everyone says how great this pen is. I'm not having that experience. Let me see what I can do. And I did a refresher on how to kind of open up a nib. And I worked on it, and it's a little better. And it's actually a lot better. I'm not a big fan of fine nibs either, so I can't hold that against it. I bought it just for doing content. Al Sakali says, I love that you create in 4K. For something like fountain pens, it really improves the watching experience. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a little tough on me, to be honest, because I had to buy a laptop that can handle it. So I'm actually talking to you guys through my MacBook Pro that's brand new, and it has like, and don't ask me the computer specs. I'd be happy to post them. I actually did post them on Instagram, but it has like 32 megabytes of active RAM because 16 isn't enough for these big files. And I'm also pushing my camera to its limits, and probably iMovie too. So I should probably upgrade to Final Cut Pro and probably get a mirrorless camera at some point, but not yet. I've made a lot of investments in this channel, and I need to chill. Maybe when I get to 10,000 subscribers, I'll buy a better camera. But like I just bought a Steadicam. I bought my what I call my influencer box, which is cool. If it didn't have the microphone wrapped around it, I'd show you guys. It's just so convenient for doing stuff like what we're doing right now. I bought my ring light. I bought my mic, this, so you can have a little better audio experience. What YouTube channels and creators do I watch? Art Sana, you're getting me in trouble. I got in trouble last live because I didn't know the name of somebody who I forget who it was now. I still haven't looked them up, but I'm going to. Dr. Brown, that's who it was. I am terrible about watching other pen content. For one thing, I have limited time. So I work in financial services. I'm a senior vice president of a bank, and my job is probably a 50-hour-a-week job or so. And I have a 5-year-old daughter, and then I have to create for TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. So when I sit down to watch YouTube, it's the stuff that I like more than stuff that feels like, I don't want to say work, because I love fountain pens, but I'm not usually watching fountain pen content because a lot of what I've seen in the past hasn't been very good. So I'm sure there's really good stuff out there, but I want to stay kind of motivated and do my own thing too. I don't want to be influenced. So I do watch Goulet. They have a totally different style than what I do, and they are very, very knowledgeable and very good at saying what's new. So I like that. I usually fast forward over the extemporaneous stuff. But anytime another fountain pen channel pops up into my feed or something, I click it off because I don't want to be influenced by it. So if you're curious about who I watch, it's people like Simon Whistler. I watch Sheen O'Malley. I watch Paul Thorpe. I watch the Urban Gentry. Mostly watch content. History. I love Perspective. Do you guys know Perspective? Perspective is a channel that's posting all those awesome history documentaries you can't find anymore, that don't stream, that are no longer on the History Channel or anything like that. And there's like great series on art, on travel, on history. It's one of my favorites. So I watch that. And then that's pretty much it for me. I do watch some political stuff. I'm a big fan of the Damage Report. I don't know if you guys know the Damage Report, but it's really entertaining, really good perspective, really good at finding sometimes obscure clips. So I quite like that too. But yeah, that's about it for creators. Avec loves historical documentaries. Me too. Check out Perspective. I think you'll really like it. Oh, you know who else I really like? Although I love this guy's channel, guys. But he's very long-winded, and I don't often have as much time as you need to watch it. But do you guys know Lindy Beige? Lindy Beige is fantastic. He can stand there looking into the camera for 45 minutes and tell you everything about Caesar conquering Gaul, his strategy day to day, the battlements, how they went around the river, and how they outflanked, and all this stuff. Unbelievable mind, fantastic presenter, unique personality, brilliant channel. Bad news is a lot of his videos are 50 minutes long, which is why I'm trying to make mine shorter, because you know, we don't always have a lot of time. I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe I should seek out some of what else is out there. It'd be nice. Rhodia is like silk. It really is. I scroll up sometimes and look at some of what your questions are, because I do hate that you can't answer them all. But my wife and I too, we like to watch shows and movies, and we're very careful about not watching bad things. Like we try to choose really good stuff, like Stranger Things, right? It's really good. Or the Mike, what's his name? Mike Flanagan, the Haunting of Bly Manor and Haunting of Hill House and Midnight Mass. Three of the best shows on Netflix. So good. And right now we just started Sandman, which is pretty interesting. Michael says I shouldn't check out other people, that much of what out there is kind of formulaic. Is it? That's kind of what I'm worried about. And you guys, I think like I'm trying not to do the this is a pen. It's 30 grams. It holds a milliliter of ink. It's 9 millimeters across. And I think you guys can get a lot of that on the website. I think what you need from me is it good? How does it make you feel? And how do you connect to it? What doors does it open for you? I think that's a big part of pens. I think that's why I'm trying to keep it unique. Bob Anderson, hi Bob. Yourself, thank you. Shari Zek and Inky Rocks are my top 3 pen channels. See, I have no idea who Shari Zek and Inky Rocks are, but I should probably check them out. And by the way, this is nothing pejorative. Remember, I'm a tiny little channel. Most of these other channels have tens of thousands of people that follow them. Like I'm not some David casting stones at these Goliaths. I just think that if my channel is going to do well, I need to be true to my own aesthetic and not be influenced. I am influenced by watch content though. So sometimes I see something on a watch show and I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. How could I do that with pens? So that does happen. Or if I'm watching a history documentary and I see somebody and I'm like, ooh, I would love to do something maybe where I'm taking a pen to a setting like that. So I think there's going to be some crossover there in my channel. I've already sort of worked in watches. I posted some watch content. You guys didn't like it, but I've been using watches a bit as props within my pen videos in my B-roll. So maybe you guys will like that. We'll see. Experiment. Michael Davis, Back Bay 58 may follow the Egyptomania. That would be a great purchase. That's a brilliant watch. I have the 41, but the 58 is amazing. My next watch purchase is going to be a Cartier Tank because I don't have a dress watch. Well, let me take that back. I don't have a mechanical dress watch. I have a Hamilton Ventura from the 90s that's quartz. I have a hard time with that word, by the way. Quartz. I don't think that sounds right, but you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to get a Cartier Tank in mechanical. Part-time filmmaker, your channel is always unique. Thank you. Thank you. I'm really trying to have really high quality that they're entertaining, educational, and immersive so that you really get a sense of the romance and the possibilities of these items. So, Joe Colucci asks about Rhodia versus Clairefontaine. I like both of them. I think Rhodia is probably the I mean, Rhodia almost feels cold when you touch it. I mean, it's slick, and you have to like that. I generally I have a hard time not liking paper, to be honest. I really like Clairefontaine. One of my favorite flip ups is Clairefontaine. See these? These are ones I use for content. So you'll see a lot of this, like what's written on here. You can't read it because it's reversed, but it's like the Lamy Safari is perfect for academia. There are certain pens that are perfect for this activity. Like these are things I'm writing. I'm probably writing a transcript of what I'm saying on some of these videos, right? The pilot vanishing point. Yes. After a week. So I was probably saying that while I wrote it on some video. So I feel like Rhodia is a lot smoother. I don't know about a lot. Is some graduation, some degree smoother than Clairefontaine. But that's if you like smooth. Like this is great paper. I could be happy only using this or only using Rhodia. And by the way, I also have one of these, although it's almost full in Ayush. I love Ayush. It's almost full. I'm so heartbroken. Such good stuff. Matt Swanson says he likes the watch content as an addition to the pen content. Notice you showing the watches, and I'd like to get some details about them and beginning when you show pen of the day. Oh yeah. Oh, so you want like a watch check along with the pen check. That would be cool. I think these are the kind of things I have to think about, right? I want to stay on brand. So if I go too far astray with something, I I just don't know. I just have to think about it. Because a lot of times when I film a video, I end up editing out some of my extemporaneous thoughts where I'll go into something. You guys see the rough cuts. I leave them as rough cuts because I think for YouTube it's kind of charming. It's also sort of honest. If you blend a cut too much, it's kind of obfuscating that there's something missing in a way, right? Not that it matters, but it just seems like um, if you take out a large section, there should be a scar there in a way. So sometimes I'll go off about a book or I'll make some kind of strained analogy like I'm doing this evening in this live, and I'll cut it out because I want to stay on brand. And I just feel like if I'm like, pen of the day, pilot vanishing point. By the way, I'm wearing the Rolex GMT Master 2. Is it on brand, guys? I don't know. I think not, but there's a lot of things I need to think about in regards to the channel. I mean, I've had a couple people approach me about paid promotional stuff, and that's another thing I'm thinking about because I'm a banker, guys. I am a capitalist. I'm not against making extra income. I would love the channel to be self-sustaining as sort of a business model because it's how I think, where it's like anytime I do something, it needs to be profitable. Like I write articles, I get paid for them. I enjoy it, but you get paid because you should get paid. It's like a way of keeping score, right? So I think about YouTube sort of the same way. Like it'd be great if it was self-sustaining. It'd be great if it had money. Like right now, I'd love to have better cameras. So if this were doing better, I could just buy the camera. But as it is, I'm like, it's a hobby. Do I really want to spend $3,000 for a camera? Maybe, but I just don't know. Thinking about it. But anyway, so a couple of companies have approached me, and one of them is very large, very, very recognizable. And I actually turned them down because I didn't like the terms. And I thought if I am going to have a paid promotion, it's going to be sort of at my terms, not theirs. Um, and it was just surprising to me. That's all. So something I need to think about. I don't know what you guys think. Matt says, I'd 100% like to see your channel as self-sustaining. I'd say go for the promotions. Yeah, well, I'll tell you some of the things I'm wrestling with, right? Some of the promotions, they basically want you to film a 20-minute commercial of their product. So I guess if you put paid promotion in the front, that's honest. But they're getting the Hemingway Jones treatment, if you will, of their product for 20 minutes, where I'm going to tell you guys either that I like it or I don't. It'd be really awkward if I didn't, but I'll tell you something. I would tell you if I did. What I've done on TikTok is because on TikTok I do promotions, but it's like a whole different medium, But on TikTok, if I don't like it, I tell them I'm not going to do it. So I just need to think about it, Thanks, guys. I just don't want to. I don't want to corrupt it, but at the same time, I know if I say I'll never do it, that I'll end up doing it. But I'll tell you this: I'm going to keep my editorial integrity. If I don't like something, I'm going to list it. I always kind of like thumbing my nose a bit at authority, so it could be fun. Michael Davis turned down a Gibson endorsement. Wow, that's nice. I don't know if I could do that. So, although I'll tell you what, guys, I turned down a very large pen company, but they wanted the same sort of thing. And they were funny about it. They're like, well, we'll send you a pen, but you have to send it back. And then we'll give you discount coupons if you want to buy it. And I'm like, so you want a 20-minute video and you won't even give me a pen? And their pens go for around $800. So they probably cost them $200 to make. And then they want to give me probably a coupon for 20% off or something. It's like, you know what? No, thanks. I don't really need a discount. I'll just buy it if I want it. So I don't know. I think there's other ways to make some money for the channel that are honest and really transparent as well. One of the things I'm thinking of doing is setting up a Patreon where there's a subscription and different tiers, and the top tier is like a course. So that's something I'm thinking about very, very seriously. And it would also maybe be a little bit more interactive. So more than anything, what I really want is that you guys feel like you're having a rich and full experience and you have some access to me as much as possible. I've noticed, I feel like the channel's taking off a little, and I'll tell you what the barometer is, all right? There's two. One is that in the last week, I had these 2 promotional requests. The second is that I'm getting many more trolls in the comments. And that makes me think that if you're getting trolls, you're getting people that are outside the community. You're reaching, like, I see it as a good thing that there's trolls, and this happens at TikTok too. When I post on TikTok and I get like 10,000 views, that's in the community of the fountain pen folks. If something goes to 250,000 or 1 million or 2 million, my biggest went to 4.5 million. That's when you get everybody. and they come at you hard, you know. So the fact that I'm seeing a bit of that on YouTube gives me hope. We're starting to reach people because we need to reach people outside of our circles if we're going to change the perception and get more people to write and open up, you know. So one of the things that really motivates me is trying to add members to our site. That's a big thing for me. We're coming up on 1 year anniversary, which is super fun. Sextus says, you might be the only person glad to see trolls. I might be the only person glad to see trolls, but am I wrong? Right? Do you know what I mean? Like there's a positive. It means that my videos are breaking through, that they're out of the pen circle. Because like there's pen trolls too, but they're pedantic and usually some detail offended them. I could understand that because that's a bit like how I am. But when you get somebody who just comes in and makes a knuckleheaded comment or an ad hominem attack on me, I know I'm reaching people. That's beyond the pen community, I think. So, you know, we could be breaking through, ladies and gentlemen. But I think the channel is growing well. We're definitely adding a lot of really interesting people. I think we have really good comments, really constructive people that are involved in this channel. And that really, really makes me feel good. I'd love to get to 10,000 subscribers. That's kind of my goal. Do I have anything special planned for the anniversary? I don't. I think I'm away during it. Actually, I'm going on vacation. I have videos recorded and cached, ready to post. If I were to be hit by a bus tomorrow, you guys wouldn't even know until almost October because I have plenty of videos. You might wonder why I never did a live, but at least there'd be videos. So I just did an unboxing. Maybe I'll do that as a special anniversary or something. But we're already doing 2 videos next week, guys. So I have one going up next Tuesday. So a week from today, no, today's Monday. A week from tomorrow will be another video. So here's the schedule. So Thursday we have a video, Tuesday we have one, and then the following Thursday we have one. So within that week you'll get 3 while I'm away. So there's a very special Hemingway Jones pen show. Do you remember when the sitcoms always had a very special episode of Hemingway Jones? So that will be an exciting week, guys. And I'll be away. But I'll still check in. Now, being at the beach means I can do some really interesting B-roll. So I'm sure you'll see a lot of new outside B-roll by the beach and in the hotels and all that fun stuff, by the pool. We'll make some really exciting B-roll. We have some travel pens to bring with us and to show in action. That'll be super fun. You get to see those. And maybe I'll even record a whole YouTube while away because I'm bringing almost everything. I'm bringing my little influencer box I told you about. I'm bringing this mic. I'm bringing my Steadicam. So I'm going to be able to produce some pretty interesting content. What travel pens will I take? Well, I have a Galen leather medic bag. I don't know if you've seen that, but I take it almost like a portable desk when I travel. So I intend to take with me the 149, the Egyptomania, because I can't be parted. I'm going to take the Vanishing point for a travel pen So that means the one that'll be with me in the field. If I go to the beach and I bring my journal, which pen will I carry? My Kaweco Brass Sport. It's my number one for that. So I'll bring that. And I'm going to bring this as yet unnamed pen that I did an unboxing for today. Can't tell you guys, but it's really exciting. Wait until you see that. It's going to knock your socks off. Sextus is tempted by the medic bag. What are my thoughts? It's great for carrying your stuff, but are you really going to carry your stuff around? So for me, anytime I travel, I bring it with me like a portable desk. So it keeps all my fountain pens, my journals, and a notebook for the channel in one spot. And it's fantastic for that. But the strap, like I'm not going to wear it with the strap walking around town or something. It's just not what I'm going to do. But other than that, it's killer. I mean, it keeps you organized and it keeps you stylish. So I like it. I use it for packing my stuff. So I recommend it. Bob Anderson says, watch sand from your cameras and stuff. Oh, yeah. Well, I have a couple dive watches that I've had around sand. Hasn't affected them. And I usually bring my Casio GA2000, which is like perfect for the beach. So you don't have any issues with that one. So we shall see. We shall see by the sea. But we're going to have some great B-roll and others. A lot of fun stuff coming up, guys. Got a nice pen review coming out Thursday. Some 2 videos coming out next week. A nice unboxing video coming out very soon. Some new pens. Got a whole bunch. Got 2 pens I haven't even opened yet. One's a Monteverdi. The other is a Narwhal. So those should be very, very fun. So that's coming up. So a lot of really good talk channels, like talk for the channel, and good ideas, like whether or not you should post a pen, which I released last week. Didn't do that well. I thought that video would be more popular, but it is what it is. And a lot of people are away in August, so that's the other thing. Well, guys, I think we probably said enough for one evening. We said it all. Maybe we said too much, but it was fun. I love hanging out with you guys. I like being widescreen live. It's much more fun than the other narrow portrait mode in the other channels. So, Johnny, thanks for the kind words. And thank you all for the great questions and for hanging out with me. I do appreciate it. We'll see each other very soon. Probably not next week because I will be at the beach, but you will have some new content up. So everyone take care, and I'll see you further up the road. Take care.